Recently, a video has come out of P. Diddy, how do I say this? Straight choke slamming his ex-girlfriend, Cassie. Before I get into this video, I want to say that I'm repulsed by this. We don't condone violence in any way, right? I think he should be punished for that, and it was an awful thing. You should never hit women under any circumstances. We learned that from Chris Brown. We've been through that. I want to examine what happened to Diddy, because he didn't start off doing goddamn Smash Bros moves on chicks in hallways, right? He didn't start off like that. I read a book a while ago called The Winner Effect that I think explains a lot of his behaviors. This is a really good book. I really think it explains a lot why he behaves like that. And in this video, I want to show you some lessons you can learn from P. Diddy. Because I think it's a cautionary tale, and I truly believe you're going to find this very valuable. In this book, The Winner Effect, the author talks about how winning actually changes your mind and your physiology on a biological level. Winning, what it's going to do is, one of the things it does on a biological level is it increases testosterone. And I'm actually going to show you a study that kind of proves that. This is a study by some motherfuckers, right? And they went into how actually when you win a sporting event or any kind of victory in any capacity, it actually increases your testosterone. In fact, there's also studies that show that when people watch their team win a sporting event, momentarily they have a testosterone spike. It actually works the opposite way too, right? So it increases testosterone, but it also increases confidence. Winning will make you more confident. That makes sense, right? If you're good at something and you have some victories, you'll have more confidence, but you also have more testosterone as a result of your victories. Now, here's the thing. And the book goes into way more detail. You definitely want to check it out. Testosterone also causes you to become a lot more risky, right? So here's a study that shows that basically this study was done on motherfucking stockbrokers, stock traders and shit. And the more testosterone they had, the more financial risk they were willing to take. And also, fun fact, in this study, it also said that a lot of times women make better traders because they have less testosterone. I know Myron's going to be mad at me for giving women props. Check this out. Now you have confidence, but here's a study that shows confidence leads to overconfidence, right? It can lead to bad decisions, right? The book leads out that winning leads to confidence. Confidence leads to arrogance. Confidence leads to arrogance, and arrogance leads to failure. Yeah, it doesn't have to happen like this, but this happens a lot. And the book goes into great detail about this. Somebody like Diddy, he's been winning for a long time, like winning really big, right? He started off as a producer for a group called Jodeci. They were like a boy R&B band, but they dressed like rappers. They started that whole shit. Like there'd be no Chris Brown without Jodeci. You feel me? And he used to produce records for them. Then he went on to produce hits records for R&B artists named Mary J. Blige. You may have heard of her. If you're black, your mama listens to her. And then he founded Bad Boy Records, sold millions and millions of copies. You know, he had arguably the best rapper of all time, one of them, right? Notorious B.I.G. Then he came out and won as a solo artist, won Grammys, produced big records for Mace, who went like double, triple platinum, and a bunch of other artists who did really well. And then this success made him more confident, right? And he started branching out into other things, right? He started the Revolt TV network, right? Which done well. You know, he had alcohol brands that did extremely well, Ciroc and all the other shit. But his most notable accomplishments, I think, he doesn't get as much praise for it as I think he deserves. He's probably one of the best in the world at reposting quotes. he Diddy, you know, he saw one of my quotes, boom, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna repost that shit. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get enough credit for that, you know. But anyway, once he became a billionaire and he had all the success, right, the book goes into how success can fuck with your brain. And what it does is you start to believe things about yourself that aren't true. You got to remember, your body has changed on a biological level. Every time you have a victory, your testosterone raises, dopamine raises, serotonin raises, and this becomes baseline. And then he just kept piling on victories. And the book goes into to how you can become super arrogant when it happens, right? So I'm gonna read from the book. As individuals experience more success, they may begin to overestimate their abilities and knowledge. This inflated self-perception can lead to arrogance, where it feels like one is invincible or superior to others. I don't believe that Puffy, he had been out here choking bitches his whole life. He got to the point where he just started to feel invincible, and he had a track record of success, staggering success. And you start to believe that you can do shit you can't do. What's really dangerous about success, and this is something you want to keep in mind as you ascend up the totem pole, the people around you become yes men, and you end up in an echo chamber where people, instead of giving you an honest opinion, they're going to tell you what you want to hear. And this will happen all the time. He's not the only celebrity you see behave like this. It's just not all of them end up doing fucking Smash Bros moves on bitches in the hallway. You see it, someone like Kanye West, right? Staggering success. He believes he's invincible. He goes on saying all types of crazy shit. And he clearly ended up in an echo chamber where people are telling him what he wants to hear as opposed to telling him what he needs to. And anyone who speaks against him, he thinks that he just say they're a hater, they're trying to stop him or something like that. But it's like, hey man, maybe you do need to chill, Kanye West.
Ain't none of y'all niggas stand up for me. Ain't nobody stop. Shut up. Be quiet before you get exiled.
I mean, if you read Cassie's lawsuit, she said that Puffy's managers and all the people around him were actually helping him do all these evil, devious things. That's what happens when you succeed, right? You got to prevent it. You got to watch that as you become more successful. You don't want yes men around you. You want everybody telling you something, because then you start to believe. One, your confidence goes through the roof, especially if you have like Puff's level of success. If winning leads to confidence, confidence leads to arrogance, right? Imagine what winning, building the biggest record label of all time, building a successful liquor brand, building a TV network, and becoming one of like 20 black billionaires ever, right? Imagine what that would do to your confidence, right? And if confidence leads to arrogance, now you lead someone who's incredibly arrogant. I mean, he clearly believed that he could do that shit and get away with it. According to Cassie's lawsuit, it sounded like he was doing this shit for like 10 years to her. And who knows what else he's done, right? Other people are coming forward. Now imagine you've been doing this and getting away with it. That's probably going to make you way more arrogant. You really gonna believe that you're invincible until you're not. Until you find out that you've been living in this echo chamber and everything you've been building around you was a facade. Everything comes out in the light. As you become more successful, it's something you really have to fight against. You should definitely read the book, The Winner Effect. It's going to show you what happens to your body biologically when you succeed, how that actually affects your mind in a positive and in a negative way, right? And I believe in many ways, Diddy was a victim of his own success. Now, I'm not saying everyone who's successful is going to start beating people up. I'm definitely not saying that. He definitely got some issues that he needs to address. And, I'm not trying to defend him in any way. I don't want to, please don't get that misconstrued. But what you need to do is really understand how dangerous success is. Here's something I realized. Success is more dangerous than failure, right? A lot of people are afraid to fail. Fear of failure stopping people from moving. But success is actually more dangerous, but people don't realize it. Success will have you overconfident in yourself. Problem with that is now you have leverage and you can fuck your life up more when you're successful. For example, my father was poor when I was born. We was all broke. I grew up in the south side of Chicago. His reputation precedes itself. One of my very first memories was mom walking me to preschool and us getting robbed on the way to preschool and fucking first thing in the morning at gunpoint. We were walking because we didn't have a car. My mom was going to walk me to preschool and jump on the bus, right? My dad had his own business at the time. He lived with us. He had his own business, but he was just struggling, trying to make it happen. It hadn't been working. I got sent away to military school for high school because I got in some trouble. Nothing crazy, just fights, skipping school, shootouts, normal Chicago shit. And I got sent away to military school. When I got sent away to military school, his business finally started to take off and he started making money. Mind you, he had been broke the 16 years prior to that, and he'd been broke before that too, right? Before I was born. He finally started making some money and it started to take off fast. And by the time I graduated from high school, he was making about $3 million a year. Adjusted for inflation, that would be $8 million in today's money. I went to college right after that, right? So I didn't experience any of the wealth because I was going to military school and then I went straight to college. But by the time I was done with college, he had lost all the money. He fucked it all up. Yeah, then he killed himself. Why? He didn't have to kill himself because he lost all the money. What happened was he made shit even worse because he used the money to get leverage. So now he had a bunch of debt and a bunch of problems, and he dug himself in a deeper hole than he would have if he was just broke the whole time. Coming from those high highs back to being broke again, probably worse than never being successful at all. I didn't experience any of the wealth. So by the time I was done with college and he killed himself, we was all back to square one, broke again. But I also knew what happened because my dad was like my best friend. And once he started making that money, what he started doing, he started gambling even more, doing a bunch of other stuff I don't want to talk about. He stopped doing the things that led to his success. And I see this a lot. I see people become successful and they let it go to their head. They think that they're the shit. They think that they can't be stopped and they start acting reckless as a result. You see this with like a lot of celebrities and shit of that nature, or even business people. I've seen it happen. What happens is now you can fuck your life up more because you have leverage. You got money, power, and influence, and you're more likely to. Because here's another study showing that power, it not only does it increase testosterone, but it also makes you take more risk. So now you got leverage, you got money, power, success. You can fuck your life up more and you're going to take more risk. Now, that's what my dad did. And I think that's what Puffy started doing. He started, you know what? I got all these fantasies now. Now I can live them all out. I can do all types of shit. Kanye West, he went on Drink Champs. He was a billionaire. And he said, oh man, I can say anti-Semitic things and Adidas won't drop me. He believed that when he said it, then Adidas dropped him like immediately, right? But he believed it, right? The success goes to your head. So the only way I know to circumvent this, the confidence can't come from yourself. The confidence has to be in your work ethic. Right? Because if you start thinking you're the god or you're the man or it's all because you're just so special, then that's how it's going to lead to arrogance. But what I always try to do is the confidence comes from my work ethic. And this does two things. One, it keeps you more grounded, right? So instead of me thinking it's about me, I'm the man, I'm fucking God, I'm this, I'm whatever. You say, no. It's the work. The work did it because I put in this work, it did it. And that's the truth as well, right? It's a work ethic. And then what that's going to do is it's going to make you want to work more and then you'll win more. You keep doing it like this. You keep the cycle here. But if you make it about you, when you make it about you, that's when you start going to arrogance. I'm the man. I'm the shit. I can do all this. No. It's the work you put in. If you keep it there, it's going to keep you more grounded. I really believe that. That's what I try to do. So what I do is I associate the victory. It's not because I'm so special. It's because the things I do, if anyone did those things, they would succeed. Because it's a primarily a fitness channel, I want to put it in words you can understand. If anyone works out almost every day for 25 years, tracks everything they eat in MyFitnessPal, keeps a scale around them to weigh their food, even at restaurants, weighs everything they eat, and make sure they hit their macros every day for decades, everybody's going to be in great shape. Literally every human being. But if I start thinking, oh, it's because me, I'm the man, well, what happens is my work ethic is going to slip. I'm going to fall off. I'm going to think I'm the man, and that's going to lead to failure. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario is I'm going to think I'm a fucking god and I can do anything and treat people any way I want to because I'm so special. That's where you have Kanye West and P. Diddy. Go read that book, The Winner Effect. It's really going to help you understand this. One more thing I want to touch on though. I don't want to victim blame, but I think there's another lesson here. I used to be a rapper, right? I was signed to Sony Records. I got dropped when they merged with BMG, no big deal. And I knew a guy named Ryan Leslie, and he gave me some beats and I recorded over him, and it didn't work out when my deal went through with Sony. Ryan Leslie discovered Cassie, and her whole first album, all the hit records she had, Ryan produced them. And Ryan was actually dating Cassie. She kind of switched sides, said, you know what? I want to fuck with the billionaire, right? And I'm not saying it's Cassie's fault. I don't want to get that misconstrued. But I think the lesson for you guys is the grass is not always greener. The grass is greener where you water it. Again, I'm not blaming Cassie, right? You know, I wouldn't wish what she went through on anyone. I think there's a lesson to be taken from that as well. I mean, she was dating Ryan Leslie. He discovered her, produced and recorded her whole first album Then brought her to Diddy, said, hey, you should put her on Bad Boy Records, because Ryan had already did some records for Bad Boy at the time. And Diddy was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna sign her. But we know how the story ended. I think the lesson is, guys, the grass is not always green on the side. Just keep that in mind. One more example. I had a friend. He went from being broke to building a business that started doing over $5 million a month. And this happened in 1 year. He really came up. Again, we explained how winning affects your physiology and your psychology. As soon as he starts making all this money, next thing you know, he's having sex with women all the time, fucking threesomes, flying around the country, having sex with different women, doing all sorts of crazy shit. And then he stopped doing the things that got him there, right? Next thing you know, he's getting sued. The business falls apart, bankruptcy. He went from $5 million a month to bankrupt. This motherfucker had to leave the country because not only was he bankrupt, he owed a lot of people money and he just fucking left. He wasn't scamming. He just took his eye off the prize. He was too focused on like other shit. Remember, his testosterone were high, so now he's super horny. He's super different. It might have fucked up his life more because now he's not even in America. It's a cautionary tale, right? Hey, read that book, The Winner Effect. I know for certain it's going to help you navigate your ascension to success.